Hello there, people of the world who own computers, TVs, and other such things to play YouTube and the like. I'm your autistic guy, and this one is quite. It's not just disturbing. It's not just worrying. It's something that also makes me kind of sad, but not sad because of what happened. Sad because there are people. There are people who are more. I know what it's like to be in that position. Or at least I don't like when you have to fight for support, when you have to fight for the help you need. Knowing that my mum was in that situation when I was younger, it's a very, very, very difficult place. It's a very hard place to be when you are literally trying to fight over and over and over again to get support and help, and it's not good. But anyway, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but let's go into this. It also brings up a very important question of how a council's got £100,000 to just try attempt to bribe somebody to move it out of the bloody council. But anyway, let's go in. Council offered father of autistic boys £100,000 to move. Tom Brown claims Kent County Council offered him £100,000 in cash after he made a complaint about the support he was offered to his son. The council said he made the offer as it understood the family wanted to move. Do you really think that's true? Do you really think they want to move? Anyway, I digress. A father of two autistic children claims a local authority offered him £100,000 in cash to move his family out of the county for 5 years. Tom Brown said the proposal was made by Kent County Council after he made a formal complaint about the support being offered to his sons. As I have already said, my mum was in that situation before where she had to basically fight, not fight, you know, to get the support I needed when I was younger. It's a very, very, very difficult place to be. It's a very difficult road to go down. It causes a lot of problems. Not like that, but just they make it more difficult as time goes on. The lawyer and his wife Bex applied for a needs assessment for the boys, Harry and George, before they moved to Kent. The children, who have autism and suffer from anxiety, were given education, health and care plans outlined the support they were entitled to receive. But Mr. Brown, who also has a daughter, Millie, alleges the boys were not provided with the care in their plans. So why create it if it's not going to be? That doesn't make sense. And he rightly complained. And during a meditation session, he claims he was offered £100,000 in cash payment by the council to move out of the county. He told BBC's Panorama there were no limitations on how we spent it. The only condition was that we provided proof of residence that we had moved out of Kent, and we also agreed not to return to Kent for 5 years as residents. I know it's Panorama, but do you really think that's yeah? That's disturbing. That itself is just disturbing. To not be allowed to come back to Kent for 5 years as residents, to move out and not come back for 5 years as residents. Beggars belief. Asked by a BBC journalist how that would help, Mr. Brown said maybe another local authority might be able to help. Mr. Brown of Sittingbourne added, "I'm still staggered by it. Why would they use that money to get us out of the county rather than use it to help my kids? It feels like a huge waste of public money." And he is correct. He is absolutely correct. It's a huge waste of public money. Although, having said that, we know that the government is basically wasting money left, right, and centre on other things. So, I'm not really surprised that they're doing this to try. I think they're doing this just to try and hush him up. But no, that was just ridiculous. And the other thing as well is, assuming that I don't know if they're already in school, but if you are in a school and then have to move from school to school, it's very stressful and very difficult. The offer was formalised in a written document seen by the BBC, which Mr. Brown eventually decided not to accept. And good on him! Good on him! Good on him for not taking good on him for not taking £100,000 of council money and basically being bribed out of the council. That's good for him. Good for him. Kent County Council said it made the offer as understood the family wanted to move. Mr. Brown refutes this. Of course they didn't want to move. Why would they? Of course they didn't. That's clearly bullshit from the council. And of course he doesn't want to move. Why would he want to move? If he's there asking for help. Tory MP Robert Halfon, chairman of the Common Education Committee, said that he isn't shocked by it. To be fair, nor am I. A council spokesman said the mediation failed, no amount was agreed, and no monies were exchanged. He added that the council had struggled to find common ground with Mr. Brown, but believed they can meet the needs of both boys in Kent schools. These days, I don't know what the school is and I don't know what the department's like, but back when I was a child, they didn't have the, I'm going to call it the Special Educational Needs Units, or the SEN units. They didn't have those back in the day, back when I was younger, so it was a lot longer. It was a lot more difficult. To a point where I was in school, and I ended up to a point where I was always in the special needs unit, just playing games on the CBBC website. Yeah. Now, it was very hard for me to do anything, and it was just a very, very difficult time. What was it? Mr. MP, Tory MP Robert Halfon, chairman of the Common Education Committee, said, "The sad thing to say is that I'm not shocked by it, because we know councils have been basically bending the rules and it's got to be stopped." He's right. They are very... They're not... Councils aren't councils anymore. They feel just like... It just feels like a vacuum. And they don't... There's a lot of things they should be doing that they don't do anymore. It's bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. What else here? So, the rate of refusals by council to carry out EHCPS has been rising steadily every year. As I said earlier, there's a lot of people who need these assessments that aren't getting them. Across England last year, more than 18,500 children were refused. 18,500 children. Now, that could be, as far as I understand, that's people with varying disabilities. That's ridiculous. With almost 80,000 blocked since the system was introduced, it says 80,000 blocked since the system was introduced in 2014. And you can imagine how difficult life has been with that. Mr. Halfon, who led an 18-month inquiry into the state of educational needs provision, added, "At the moment, I think the system mitigates against the child being a priority because what we created is an adversarial system." It is. A lot of it isn't about the child who needs help anymore. It's where can we save money, or where can we do this, where can we do that, and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely shocking that they'd offer, like, I still can't go over that, 100k to move out of the country. I mean, how does that work? And the other thing is, I don't know if I've already mentioned this, so I'm going to mention it again. I'm going to mention it now. In our county, they've started charging us for the green bin collection, the garden waste. Now, if they can afford to pay now this isn't the same council as me, I'm just saying as an example. If that was my council and they had 100 grand they could basically offer to somebody to move out of the county, then why are we being charged for our green bins to be collected? It's absolutely insane. And I find this I find it worrying. The thing that I find most worrying about this isn't just that, but 80,000 children were blocked from having assessments. That's not good. That's really not good. And yes, I understand I don't get it. I mean, I get it, but I don't. If you the other thing I've noticed as well is a lot of the time. So the other thing I used to know about this stuff as well. Sorry, I know it's going up and down. Is with a lot of this stuff, it will go to a lot of the stuff will go to a panel, or they call it going to panel, in air quotes, and they won't. You don't go there and argue it. You can't go there and argue it. You can't go there and actually plead your case. Somebody else does it for you, or it's just given there as I don't know who puts it forward for you, but you can't go. This is so, and I only know this because of something else that's happening at the moment in my own life, and I've it's a long story, but basically, I found out that I couldn't go and plead my case, and it just went to panel, and they don't know anything about the person. No, they don't speak to the person. They just make assumptions. So I'm under the impression that they've made assumptions and they've basically just said no, and they're just making things more and more difficult. But as I said though, £100,000, £100,000 to move out of the county. It's going to happen again at some point. I know it's going to happen again, and I'm not going to be surprised. But it's still, it's one of those things where you just wonder why are they refusing to help? If you need the help, you need the help. You can't just sit there and say, "Well, we'll just pass it over to somebody else. We'll just give somebody else the problem." It's not on. It's not on. And if by chance they end up getting support, I hope they do. If they do, then I'm more than happy for it. But it just seems very. It's sad that it's come to this. It's sad that it's actually come to this. Anyway, I've been your autistic guy. I'm going to try and try not to get more try and get sad by this, but it's just as someone who's been through it, you can understand. I can kind of understand the pain he's going through. I will see you in another video, and if you could share this around. Because I think people need to see. I know it's in the Daily Mail, but I think people need to see how bad this is getting. Anyway, see you later.